Hey, so my name is Alex, and I have been a watcher, I guess you could say, on for a long time. I suppose most recently I've been really into like study videos. It's about nursing because I was a nursing student for the last few years, and I just graduated nursing recently, and I thought about making my own channel, but I just didn't really feel like I had the time, and I really wanted to focus all my energy into nursing school. So I didn't really want to make a nursing like YouTube channel while I was in school. But now that I've graduated, I really wanted to find a way to document my transition into the workforce, for myself, and maybe in a way that could also be helpful to other people, because man, it is so hard, in and so good. Like there's both like good aspects to it and difficult aspects to it, and I think that it's important to talk about those things. So I guess the purpose of this channel is to both talk about the kind of parts about transitioning from nursing school into the profession, that affect all of us, and then also to share some of the personal aspects for me that make it especially challenging, on a personal level. So I guess I want to use this space to kind of document those things. It's really more for myself, and if it can be helpful for other people, then I'm happy for that. So I guess for this video, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and kind of share a little bit about where I'm at in my journey for the moment. And I guess the subsequent videos will just go from there with like little updates. And I'm thinking that the types of videos that I'll probably share will be like update videos and day in my life, and like where I'm at in my like what's it like to like how I prepare my morning routine, like my nighttime routine and everything. Um so yeah, so basically I graduated nursing school in December. I did an intensive program to become a nurse. I used to be a social worker, and I was a social worker for about 7 years, 5 years full time, and then I continued being a social worker while I was in school. So I did a 2 year intensive program in Canada, and then I graduated, like I said, in December. And so I started my nursing job in January, and I took a position right out of school in the ER, in the emergency room, in a hospital where I live. And so it was kind of a crazy thing to do, because I took a position in the busiest hospital in my province, which is kind of nuts. And it's also one of the busiest times of year. So I started, I guess, at the beginning of January, and it's now the end of February. So I've been there for about 2 months. And honestly, I really liked it. I like the environment. I like the pace. I like the people. I was enjoying it a lot. However, the pace that it goes at is just like your patients are coming and going so quickly, and it forces you to work at a pace that's just like you have to be able to do things so fast, and things need to be automatic. Like you need to be like, it has to just come to you super automatically, otherwise you will make mistakes. And I realized that towards the end of my training, that I felt like things weren't automatic to me. I still had to think about things, and I just was afraid that I was going to make mistakes once I was on my own without like a preceptor there to help me, and I just wasn't comfortable, and I didn't feel like I was ready yet, and it was the end of my training, and I just was like, this is not for me. So that was a big, like, that really crushed me. And I think a lot of nurses go through something like this at the beginning of their career. My dream was to work in the ER. Like, I have always thought about that. I always wanted to work in the ER. I was so excited when I got the position. It was like I was over the moon about it, excited, 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 happy. And then I started and it was amazing and I loved it. And then as I got more and more patients, and it got harder and harder, I started to realize that it wasn't working, and it crushed me, like, really. And it took me honestly like a week of feeling like garbage and just being like, this isn't working. Like, I left my career as a social worker, I became a nurse, and now like this isn't working for me. And so it was really, really emotionally hard, and it took me like the whole week to kind of like get through that, and to kind of like come to the realization that it's okay. Like, this was kind of like a stepping stone. It was just like a bump, not a bump in the road so much, but just like um just a piece of my training right now. And so I am okay with that. I decided, like, I'm very lucky in that my hospital was like, it's fine. Like, we love you. You're a great nurse. It's not a question of not being a good nurse. It's just the fact that, like, the pace is crazy, especially for a brand new nurse. Don't worry about it. We're just going to put you somewhere else. Don't stress. So we had a meeting, and they gave me a bunch of options. And so I picked a couple of different options, and they're going to try to stick me somewhere else. So basically, after 2 months of training to be in the ER, I'm now going to end up being stuck, not stuck, but like being put somewhere into a different department. So I'm really excited because I feel like this is a better thing for me, and I feel like it's the right thing for me. But at the same time, emotionally, that was really hard because it's not what I expected. It's not what I had planned. And I think as a nurse, like as a new nurse, like, it's important to talk about those things because it happens. Like, those are the things that happen at the beginning of your career, and it's not what we expect. And some people quit, and they even told me that. Sometimes people leave the career at the beginning because of stuff like this, and they really didn't want me to think about leaving. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, I wouldn't even consider that because I was still enjoying it. I was still enjoying the job. It was just the pace. But I know that for some people, that would be enough to leave. And I wouldn't want anyone to decide that because there's so much more out there in nursing. There's so many options. So I think that there's a lot ahead of me right now. And hopefully, even though that this experience has been kind of crushing, there's going to be more. And so it's kind of like a transitional phase, and that's where I'm at right now with my nursing. So I wanted to kind of start this channel to sort of share that journey, but there's a lot of really cool stuff to share too, like how do I get ready? Like, how do I start my day? Like, what do I do to prepare myself for my shifts and all this kind of stuff, that I think were like, those are the videos that I love watching, and that I'm quite an organized person, and I would like to share, like, if it could be helpful for other people. So yeah, so I think that's kind of the purpose of this channel, so to speak. And if there's other content that people want or ask for, if ever, then I suppose I could make that as well. And there are other aspects of nursing that are personally challenging, which I think if it becomes appropriate, that I would eventually share those things as well. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm hoping to be able to start this sort of like YouTube journey, but it's more of like a diary or a personal a way of dealing with things on a personal level. So it's for me, really. Yeah, so thank you very much, and see you next time.